things to do that. So with the hydrogen, so this is more trendy now. I mean, back 10 years ago, you really didn't hear much about it. You heard a lot about alkaline water, then reverse osmosis water, and now there's, energy enhanced water. But the hydrogen water is something where there are tablets, there are supplements, there's bottles, there's water machines that claim to do it all. Let's run through all of them. What
Sure.
to look for? What is just a gimmick that you're paying for and it's not going to do you any good versus things that actually work and you can feel, and the benefit of hydrogen. Why are we even looking into it?
Well, I found it serendipitously while looking at the alkaline world. I mean, I kicked my head and said I should have known because back in school, because pH stands for potential of hydrogen. So hydrogen's got to play a role in it. There's a reason, God created hydrogen as it's the number one molecule in the universe. There's more hydrogen molecules than anything in the whole universe. We just are awakening to try and understand it. The fuel and energy world is realizing they can fuel the planet on hydrogen because it's so readily available. Hydrogen is number one on the periodic table. There's a reason it's number one, and it's the use of it, and there's a medicinal use of it. Um, I found it because selfishly, I was just trying to figure out how to make coffee more alkaline because I love
Yeah,
coffee. Now,
me too.
after figuring out that yes, I need to buy better coffee, not just organic, but no mold coffee. I mean, it's a different maker and how it's processed. We can get a Swiss press kind of situation going on. And there's so many different, I mean, it's a world out there of coffee, if you will. But at the end of the day, it's still acidic. And it gets really acidic really fast. I mean, everyone's had to be stuck in a diner somewhere where they needed coffee or they were falling asleep and they pulled over to a 7-Eleven and that thing's been sitting on there for I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And I mean, I'm sure it's like a 4 point something pH where I mean it's like drinking battery acid, but it gets you to the next stop. I just knew that the whole world was going to continue to do it, and whether it was that or it was acidic tea, black teas, that we needed to figure out a way. And I was inspired to even think about that by some gurus in the space of pH. And so I did a deep dive into it, and I found out there were companies out there that saying they would alkalize coffee, but it would destroy the taste of the coffee. So no one's going to, anybody could put alkaline minerals in their coffee, make it alkaline, and then also make it intolerable to drink.
Yeah.
And then there are other people that didn't kill the taste of coffee, but they weren't making the coffee alkaline. So I threw those out. And then so I figured I had to do it. I had to figure it out. So, I had to go to Europe to meet a scientist and a chemist that was working with molecular hydrogen and trying to get it to where you can drink it throughout dissolved in alkaline, dissolved in water. And so I'm like, that's it. So we engineered these little tiny tablets that fit right through the hole of your Starbucks cup. Not because I drink Starbucks. I hate it. Sorry, Starbucks. But I'm a coffee snob. But the world drinks things like that, and they're drinking it with the microplastic lid that they're drinking through, which is a whole nother story. But it fit right through. The problem is for the real coffee snobs who love like a barista to make them a nice, pretty leaf. It didn't dissolve all the way, so it made your coffee alkaline, but it looked like somebody spit in your pretty leaf coffee. So I'm like, man, I gotta improve it. When you're into something, you're always trying to make it better. And then we made it. So we went from these effervescent tablets. Now you see this renaissance of the effervescent tablet. It's the same damn thing. There's nothing different than what we're using many years ago that I couldn't wait to move on from. I mean, it was like 14 plus years ago. Now you see every Instagram guru out there harking about these things and saying why theirs is better than everyone else's. The real laughable part is that there's really one guy who's private labeling it for like 60 different companies, who's doing quite well financially doing that. Everyone says their company is different, but if you turn it over and look at the ingredients, they are exactly the same from company to company. Now, why is that? You cannot make the claims because this guy's had some studies done on his product. You cannot make those claims unless you use the exact product. Otherwise, it's illegal. Some people are still
Right.
doing that, but don't hate the player, hate the game, right? So that's the reality of what's going on. So that is, like, to me, antiquated, because then we moved on and created it where you could actually ingest it. Because what if you know anything about chemistry, you don't need to know anything. You just got to remember, like, junior high school, water is 7.0. It's always trying to get to 7.0. If you put hydrogen in the water, it's as fast as you put it in, as fast as it's trying to get back to 7.0. So you can put a tablet in a water, measure, and say, look, I have 8 parts per million of hydrogen in there. But it's like, you better put it in your mouth pretty quick because it's dissipating. And the hydrogen is dissipating because that's what it does. It creates nanobubbles, and then poof, just like that, which is where the bubbles come from. So what we realize is there's no better closed container than your mouth.
Mhm.
So if you can ingest it, and we had to figure out a way to do that, because you don't want to stick those effervescent tablets in your mouth. They're horrific. They're
Right.
not designed to do that, and don't do that. So we figured out how to do that. Obviously, that was proprietary, and worked with these scientists. I'm not that smart. I work with these scientists like we're on the shoulders of giants. Yes, to evolve to that. Then we created a chewable version, which was really good. But I always wanted to get this form, which you held up, which is everyone's favorite thing when they were a kid. Now, if you're as old as me, you go, it tastes like a pixie stick. If you're younger than me, you go, it tastes like a fun dip. And if you're under 30, you go, it tastes like nerds. So every generation has their thing. You just tear it open, put it in your mouth, dissolves like a pixie stick. And so it releases molecular hydrogen nanobubbles that cross your blood brain barrier, that cross your gut barrier. They are smart molecule. Hydrogen's a smart molecule. What does that mean? It means it knows good from bad. So when you load up on antioxidants, those are really good, except your body needs certain oxidation to happen to communicate between cells. And that cell signaling needs to happen. If you overdo it, you do too much, you shut those down. So fire is good and fire is bad. If your house is burning down or there's a forest fire, that's a bad day for you and fire. But if it's cold outside and you have a stove and you want to cook food or make something hot to drink, or you want your pilot light lit, that's a good use of fire. So the smart molecule knows how to bypass uh, the stove, leave it lit, but go put out the forest fire.
Mhm.
And so we know these things, like these really bad free radicals, like peroxynitrate and a hydroxyl radical, which is the worst. Hydrogen will take that hydroxyl radical that's creating all this kind of havoc in your body, leading to all the things that we're scared of getting when we get older, which you're not going to claim, but there's studies out there, and it'll neutralize it by turning it into water. And so that's the beauty of it. The other thing is, it's like your body saturates at a certain point. This is another thing. So people go, more water, more this. Doesn't matter how much is in there. There's a law of like chemistry again in human physiology, that you hit a saturation point. You can't keep filling a glass when it's full.
Yeah.
But after time your body uses it, so hydrogen is better spaced out throughout the day. So, on average, they say something like this will be releasing molecular hydrogen nanobubbles in your body for like 4 hours, and then you'd want to do it again, So, and that's why people do it throughout the day. The other thing too is that, as you know, in the nutrition world, if you have a product that's an impact product, then it's not if, it's when it's going to be what we call $1 billion product. Because, meaning, like, not only do people feel it right away when they take it, but they feel it more when they run out.
Right.
Because then they go right back to where they were. Not that it's not medicinal, but especially when you have, let's say, a pain pattern or discomfort pattern. We're not allowed to use the pain word anymore. So let's call it discomfort, or achy, or it hurts when I do this, or it hurts when I squat. So we used to do these demonstrations all the time, where I would give a 20 to 30 minute lecture. 5 minutes into it, after we intro, I say, who's hurting? who has something that won't go away. And we have 5 people stand up, demonstrate what it is. We pass out these guys, and then 15 to 20 minutes later, we circle back towards the end of the talk. And where are people that were bitching about whatever they're bitching about? And then 4 to 5 people completely gone, if not dramatically better. Then everybody goes up to them at the end and thinking and asking them if they were a plant or is it real? And because nobody trusts anybody for anything. I get it. And then that's kind of what we've done forever and ever and ever. So it's one of those things that once you do it, you're like, yeah, I love these things. So my goal, like yours, having kids and knowing that nothing's more horrific in your life than even more than when we have health issues is when our children have health issues. And my mission is to always make products that children are able to take,
Yeah.
because as the twig is bent, so grows the tree. If the farm, I'm going to pick on them for a minute, that the pharma world has figured it out. They figured out to put these pediatricians out there and create something called a well baby visit, where there's nothing having to do with the wellness that happens in that visit except indoctrination into drugs and vaccines.
Yeah.
And everyone has freedom of choice, but not everybody gets educated. And I believe if everyone was educated, they would make different choices. But when trillions of dollars are spent to make sure we stay ignorant and not get exposed to things that can change and the trajectory of our children's health, then that's where we have a moral and ethical responsibility. I do, and I believe we all do, to step in and show people that that may not be exactly true. And here's another way. So all these products that we make it so the children can use it and change the course of what's possible for them.